Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Live Highlight in the Magic City on the Highlight channel. I'm Stu Nyman, and today I will be announcing with Andrew Bleckman, as I've done almost every Pelota day for the last 6 years? 7 years? 7?
6?
6, yeah, like 6.5 years. And together we will cover every point played today. All Mutual's wagering is now open on today's 8-game performance. Each of today's 8 games will offer Win, Play, Show, Quinella, Exacta, and Trifecta wagering. We have an early daily double, the only daily double, games 1 and 2. 2 pick threes, an early pick 3 and a late pick 3. Early pick 3, games 2, 3, and 4. Late pick 3, games 6, 7, and 8. We then have the high-paying High 5 jackpot, the most popular wager here at Magic City. It's a pick 5 wager. Correctly pick the winners of games 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you do so correctly and have the only ticket that does so, you'll cash in on the High 5 with its $2,000 guarantee. Online wagering is available at watchandwager.com, or if you're in the state of Connecticut, mywinners.com. However, placing a bet not necessary in order for you to enjoy all that we have in store for you today. We have one scratch in today's performance, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one scratch. in today's performance. That is Nicholas. Nicholas has been scratched in all his scheduled performances today. Those scratches begin in not games 1, 2, 3, or 4, but in game 5, post 5 in the backcourt scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Ben. Game 5, post 5, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Ben. Game 6, post 8, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Goanaga. Game 6, post 8, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Goanaga. Game 7, post 1, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Arats. Game 7, post 1, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Arats. Game 8, post 1, scratch Nicholas, again, replace Nicholas with Arats. Game 8, post 1, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Arats. So you're going to scratch Nicholas in all his scheduled performances today and replace him with the program sub at the bottom of each game. With all that in mind, we ask you to make all of your wagers as early as possible within scheduled post times and sit back and relax. Post time for Game 1 is now just 7 minutes away. Andrew, good gosh darn it, how are you?
Hello, Stu. I'm doing well today. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat. David
It's a lot of
Howard
content
asked
here.
early
Yeah.
on, any scratches? Just announced Nicholas is our only scratch. You can use your program to see who the substitutes are. Steve M., good to see you out and early. Jesse Tebbets, afternoon. Michael Dupuis, as always, good seeing you. T. Shirk, greetings. Let's see. Okay, so we're going with reverse duel. Yeah, I know there was no way once that got out that we were going to keep it to ourselves, but that's...
For the record, can we say I never said it, Stu? It was someone else. I was trying.
No.
I wouldn't do that.
No, it was Benny, so...
All right.
Okay, so why do you dislike the backhand two-all so much? On the MC court can be effective if practiced and not just a low percentage trick shot. I don't agree with that. Plus, it makes backcourters more dangerous, which adds excitement to the game. I do agree with. So, and obviously, Jatna is someone who came to Highlight, and then just like, he has just become a giant fan, a huge supporter of the program. He asked a very legitimate question there. T. Shirk, phenomenal play last battle court. Yeah, they were fantastic. They really were. Adam, good to see you. So should we discuss that now? Should we play the video now and then talk about it afterwards?
Yeah, we'll play the video here first. This one will explain the scoring format for all 8 of our games, which today, as every day, is Spectacular 7 scoring.
Spectacular 7 singles games are played with 8 players. Each player wears a different color jersey numbered 1 through 8 on the front. These numbers are traditionally referred to as post numbers. Post numbers are used to signify the order in which the athletes will play in a game. These numbers are also used for betting purposes. Don't be confused by the numbers on the back of our jerseys. Those are just for fun. Each game begins when the player in the post 1 red jersey serves to the player in the post 2 blue jersey. The served ball must land between the 4 and 7 lines marked on the court's side wall. If the ball lands between those lines, the serve is good and play continues until one of those 2 players wins that matchup. The player who loses the matchup exits the court and waits for his next turn at the end of the rotation. It's important to note that every game has 2 rounds. The first 7 matchups in a game make up round 1. Each matchup in round 1 is worth 1 point. Round 2 refers to all matchups that take place after the 7th and final matchup of round 1. The number of matchups in round 2 varies from game to game. And in round 2, each matchup is worth 2 points. The first player to earn 7 points wins the game.
And we're back here now, 4 minutes from the start of game number 1. Jatna, we'll have to get back to your the Stu Wall conversation. Stu was just pulled away for a moment, talking with Scott. So, I promise we'll get back to that. Not that anyone asked for my opinion, I'll share it anyway. I think that Stu is right in part about the backhand 2-all because you just don't have a ton of control on that shot. But I also agree with Jatna that it is very effective. Just, if there's no concern about a backcourter throwing a shot, well, why would the front quarter be anywhere on the outer half of the court? If there is concern, you can throw those low runners, try to target the backcourter. it's very effective, especially just getting a player out of their comfort zone and out of the inside, an opposing front quarter. But obviously, Jatna, you understand, and I think there's a lot of value in what you're saying there with the stew wall. But we'll get back to that conversation a little later. David, I know you joined us. I think, did Stu say hello to everybody? Mac, Noel, T-Shirk, Adam, Matthew, Tampa. Hello, guys. Battle court tonight, I just got the sheet here in front of me, will be the Renegades and Cyclones. What a night on Friday. That was just an incredible game day, back and forth. You didn't know how really any of those matches were going to play out. And then in the end, the Devils ended up winning. I mean, almost all of them, except the last one. Just great play, especially in the third set by those Devils, and that team rounding into form exactly when they need to be at the halfway point of the season. You hope to be playing your best highlight as you roll around December. You just got to stay around, and you got to stay in it until then. And this team, you know, as we're approaching the end of October, as we get to November, I think the Devils are on the up, and that team could continue that play and sneak into the playoffs. They're going to be a threat, no doubt about it. Get you a look at the early doubles as well here. They got just about 2 minutes. Haven't updated the standings in a while. Benetrix and Flores leaders of the early doubles games with 4 wins. Not a bonus prize associated with the early games, as is the case in the late doubles, but still prize money in every game played. So Benetrix and Flores in first with 4 wins. And then we have a tie for second place. Arta and Gallo and Julin and El Barba, both with 3 wins. And CRB and Ben with 1. Ikeda, Tennessee with 1. And then 3 winless teams, Cool Fitness and Manny, Jedden and Unda, and Juice and Cabrera. Tampa, no. Did not drop Battle Court. But sometimes it may take a little bit to get up there. And they may post them a little later in the day as well. But we'll double check just to make sure. But no, to our knowledge, there are no changes. They're on DraftKings, FanDuel, Hard Rock here exclusively. If you're in the state of Florida, you can only bet on Hard Rock. We're on Bet Rivers. We're on Bet365. Almost every major reputable sports book outside of, I think, like Caesars is the only one that comes to mind that you cannot bet Battle Court. And then the other caveat, it has to be approved in your state. So even if you have wagering available in your state, they have to have highlight-specific wagering. So that applies to, I think it was Ohio. I think someone came in the other day where there is wagering, but nothing specific to Battle Court. With that, we are ready to begin game number 1. Spectacular 7 scoring. Serving the red of post 1, we have the team of Arten Gallo receiving the blue of post 2. It's Ikeda and Tennessee. Arta serves. We begin. Backhand, high and hard. Rabote left side. Turned by Arta. Back inside. Tennessee. Fires this one up the middle. Long Rabote. Turned back to the inside along the wall. Picked up again. Nice catch by Tennessee. Right on the numbers. Gallo over the top to the inside. Tennessee. Backhand. Into the Chula. That one comes out. Arta plays it up the middle. There's Ikeda reaching up high. Forehand back over the top. Gallo makes the stop off the sidewall. Sends it back. Tennessee lines it up. Tennessee got there. Couldn't make the catch. That point goes to the 1. One team first up on the board here. That'll bring to the court. White to post 3. Cool Fitness and Manny. Manny from the 10 line, backhand low to the inside. Arta gets there, picks it off. Catch in the middle of the court. Manny just beyond the 11, plays it inside, drops between them. Arta comes back to make the save. Manny now at the forehand. This one dropping. Arta picks it off, fakes the Costano, sends it deep. Manny ducks out of the way. Cool Fitness saves the rebote off his footing, but feeds Arta. From the outside, it's a drop shot. Lands in and scores. Point one. Here's post 4 to receive, CRB and Ben. CRB picks the serve, drop shot, dropped in perfectly to score. Point 4. 4 now on the board with the point. In the black shirts of post 5, we have Jedden and Unda. Unda from the middle of the court, low bullet inside. That's dropping. Ben takes it in the air. Down with the forehand, rifles it inside again. That one missed. Point 5. Post 5 with a point. Now the yellow shirts post 6. We have Benetrix and Flores. Flores drops one inside. Unda steps up. Powerful return. This one comes shooting off the back wall. Benetrix gets it. Back to the outside. There's Jedden. Rifles one off the wall. Benetrix takes it right off. Rebote missed along the side wall. Point 6. 6 team now with the point. Post 7. We have Julian and El Barba. Barba handles that powerful serve, drops it inside. Flores waiting for it, makes the catch at the 11. Now Barba again, this time at the 10 line, lobs it up. Flores runs under it, sends it back. Now Julian backed up to the 10 line. Long rebote for Benetrix, across the wall late. Julian steps in front of it on the right side, shoots a Cortada. Flores tipped it. In receive, rounding out the first round of play, purple of post 8, we have Juice and Cabrera. Cabrera opens with the backhand, lobs it in the corner. El Barba takes it right off the side wall. Beautiful catch. Cabrera gets up to it. Lobs one up at the 8, past El Barba. Julian back inside, makes a save, dropping to Cabrera. He's got a carom. It lands in, and it scores. Point 8. That will do it for the first round of play. All matchups now worth 2 points at the end of the game. First to return, post 2, Ikeda and Tennessee. Bouncing serve handled by Tennessee. Cabrera one-handed catch overhead, sends it back into that corner. Rebote forehand, turn to the outside. It lands out of play. Point 8. 8 team with 3 points. Post 3 returns, Cool Fitness and Manny. Point. Possible game point here for the 8 team. And receive post 1, Arta and Gallo. Arta makes the catch, 2-all, scores. One team with 4 points now. Here's green shirts, post 4, CRB and Ben returning. Arta makes a save. Ben picks it off the side wall, deep in the backcourt, sends it back. Now Arta. CRB overran it, trying to get out to save the rebote, and he hooked it. That's a point for the 1 team into a possible game point. And to stop them, post 5, Jed and Unda. Hard serve, Unda lines it up as across the wall. Low bullet inside. There's Arta. Outside placement. Unda called him off. Great communication. Shoots it back to the inside. This opens. Gallo knows where to be. Makes a save, but it's not going to make it. Comes up short. Point 5. Game continues again. 5 team with 3 points. Here's post 6, Benetrix and Flores. Unda backed up at the 12 line, rifles one inside, drops it between the 16. Benetrix for Bote. Right at his feet, Unda elects to play it on the back end. He makes the save. Benetrix on the right side, whips it into the corner. Unda scrambling, comes out. Extra Bote, right up the middle. There's Flores in position. Sends it back. Now Unda with the right side. Over the top, it's dropping, but Benetrix handles right off the floor. Tough for Bote, that's missed. Point 6. 6 team now, 3 points, post 7 returns. Julin and El Barba. Backhand to the inside, scoop by Flores. Back at the 11, nice play. El Barba, 10 line, that opens up to the middle of the court. Benetrix fires it inside, scoop by Julin, backing up. Here's Flores, sends one to the outside. El Barba, good foot speed, runs under it. It's the forehand up the middle. Benetrix takes it on the bounce, comes over the top on the right side. El Barba handles again, plays it right up the middle. Low bullet, El Barba takes it right off the wall. Backhand, comes to Flores. On the right side, sends it over Jula's head. Lines it up right off the side wall. Benetrix again, the inside placement. El Barba goes up, knocked it down. Point 6. 5 points for the 6 team. They have a possible game point. In to stop them, post 2, Ikeda, Tennessee. Tennessee on the right side, sends it high off the front wall. Benetrix waiting for the rebote, kind of died, but he's got it on the left side. Late notice, Tennessee makes the catch in the backcourt, turns it back over the top. Benetrix backs up at the 11 line, sends it back inside, picked up by Ikeda. Ikeda back over the top, drops it between them. Now Benetrix able to make the save on the back end. Nice grab by Tennessee, keeps it along the wall, drops it in the corner. Benetrix saves the rebote, can't get it past Ikeda, he cuts it off. Flores steps away. Benetrix left side rebote, feeds Ikeda's backhand. Flores goes to the outside, Tennessee makes the catch. Good control, clears the screen, 3-wall play. Benetrix in position, sends it back inside. Tough one, but Tennessee's got it again. Benetrix, what a forehand, dropping low. Tennessee keeps it on the left side. Hard return. Robote coming back out. Benetrix on the left side with a bounce. Tennessee goes up for it. Benetrix, sidearm play right into the corner. Ikeda, will he get out there? Does save it, but it's too high. Point and game. Yellow of post 6. Benetrix and Flores. No playoff here. 1 places, 8 shows. 6-1-8. Unofficial order of finish for our first game. Results are now official for our first game. Coming in first, post 6, Benetrix and Flores. Taking second, post 1, Arton Gallo. Coming in third, post 8, Juice and Cabrera. 6-1-8, now official for game number 1. The Quinella 1-6 returns 1860. The trifecta 6-1-8, 471 even. $2 on the 6 to win returns 1020. First number of the daily double, number 6. Up next, we've got game number 2. Spectacular 7 scoring. Coming out for our first singles game of the day in game number 2. There are no scratches in our second game. Again, Nicholas is the only scratch in today's performance. So if you're looking ahead to the high 5, the only games that will be affected, I guess a few of them, games 5, 6, 7, and 8. But specifically for the high 5, games 5, 6, and 7 will be affected with that scratch of Nicholas. It'll be the program sub, backcourt sub and doubles, and the program sub and singles, but we'll run through that before game 3 as well. No, Brian, Stu is here. He's just to my left. He's talking with Scott, and he will be back. So, get the licks in now while you can. With about 5 minutes to go till we begin game number 2. For any new Highlight fans that may be joining us today for the first time, take a look at this video that will explain in simpler terms how Highlight is played.
The main rule of Highlight is simple. Players must catch and return the ball in one fluid motion. Sounds easy enough, right? So how do you win? You can win a matchup simply if your opponent overserves, underserves, or serves the ball out of bounds. On the flip side, your opponent wins the matchup if the serve is so good that you fail to catch and return the ball to the front wall. If your opponent fails to catch the ball before it bounces twice on the ground, or if your opponent's cesta makes contact with the ball but doesn't catch it, then in both of those cases, you win the matchup. You can also win a matchup if the ball bounces around in your opponent's cesta during an attempted catch. This is called juggling, and it's illegal in Highlight. Another way to win a matchup is if your opponent throws the ball and it lands out of bounds on its return from the wall. The overall game strategy for a Highlight player is to make it difficult for an opponent to reach the ball in time or to execute a rebuttal play.
And we're back. So Benetrix and Flores just adding to that lead in the early doubles. Now their 5th win, acquired in game number 1 tonight. Matthew Eaves, it's very interesting. The what site can you wager in the UK? I know Bet365 is actually maybe bigger overseas than maybe DraftKings or FanDuel, but just curious as to what you're betting down there, because that's a way for you to get involved. Even though you can't bet on a specific match, you can still bet on a team and cheer for that team through the rest of the season. Okay, that's what I would have thought. Matthew Eves, is Bet365 the most prominent sports book in the UK, or do you guys still have others? Sorry to be going one-on-one, but I'm just curious because Bet365 here, I guess it's probably not one of the most popular, but again, it's still a sports book, still wagerable in a lot of states. But I know overseas you see a lot of the sports, they have advertisements for Bet365. So that's where it comes from. Betfred is big. You know where else there's a Betfred? In Arizona. Yeah, I went to Arizona and I went to a resort out there. And yeah, Betfred. I'd never heard of that before. But I guess that could be more of an international sports book as well. But they definitely have a presence here in the United States. Okay, you have other books, but 365 is one of the biggest ones. Yeah. Oh, Betfred with snooker. Mo, I know. I think you're a fan of that, right? Brian D, of course. Good play on words, as he's always there. Alex, we're trying, man. Michigan, Michigan's got everything, and you guys can't bet highlight there? That's surprising. You guys have wagering, so that's got to be one of those things where highlight's not approved in the state. So maybe if you write your local congressperson, they could help get that through. Also don't have Live Golf, yeah. Yeah, we have that down here in Florida. We begin. Missed ball there by Juice, point two. Two first up on the board here in our second game. That'll bring the court. White at post 3, Tennessee. Tennessee with the backhand, keeps it along the wall. Cool Fitness, nice catch. Lobs the backhand. Tennessee to the outside with the drop shot return. Oh, Cool Fitness got it. A carambola by Cool Fitness. Takes 2 bounces. That scores point 2. Two points for the two posts. That'll bring the court. The green shirt to post 4. Jedden. Jedden moves up on the serve, gets there before it crosses the wall. Now sends it deep. Cool Fitness, Rabote, clips the wall, opens up to Jedden on the outside. It's a tough one. Cool Fitness going to the ground, can't make the save. Point 4. 4 with a point. Here's post 5, El Barba. Catch inside by Jedden from the 10 line. He sends it deep right into that corner. El Barba comes out with the rebote. Played to Jedden's left side. El Barba turns it on the back end. Catch up high by Jedden. This one coming deep. El Barba lobs it up. Big bouncing 2-ball. Jedden stays with it. Makes the catch. Takes time. Crosses the wall. And it scores. Well placed. That's 2 points now for the 4 post. And Ikeda, yellow post 6, comes in to receive. Ikeda drops one along the wall. Jedden comes back, makes a save. Ikeda from the outside, takes a look, comes over the top. 3-wall play, Jedden in position, turns the rebote. 2-wall, comes right back to Ikeda though. He keeps this one a little bit lower, crossing the wall. Jedden lines it up. Forehand, into that corner. Jedden on the rebote, turns it outside, but a little too high. That caught the screen and it's out of play. Point 6. Post 7, here's Ben. And sends it high and deep into that corner. Ikeda comes out over the top. Ben looking for the rebote, just missed it. Point 6. 6 for 2 points, but in the receive, rounding out the first round of play, we had the purple post 8, CRB. Rotate forehand, turned by Ikeda. TRB, dropped it. Point 6. That will do it for the first round of play. All matchups now worth 2 points through the end of the game. First to return, post 1, we have Juice. Serve crossing late, Juice picks it up. Ikeda up at the 8 line, comes over the top to the inside, it's dropping. Juice though sent it up in the overhead screen. Point 6, straight points into a possible game point here for Ikeda. Yellow post 6, and to stop him, Tennessee. Rebote left side by Ikeda, right up the middle. Tennessee reaches up, makes a nice catch. Rebote forehand again. Ikeda to the outside. Tennessee missed it. Point and a perfect game. Yellow post 6, Ikeda. Playoff for second and third place and show here. 2 serves to 4. That's an overserve. 4 will place 2 shows. 6, 4, 2. Unofficial order finish for game 2. We'll get the prices in just a moment. Six, 4, 2 now official for our second game. Post 6, Ikeda with a perfect game. Taking second, post 4, Jedden coming in third, post 2, Cool Fitness. The daily double, 6-6, returns $26.60. $2 on the 6 to win, returns $4.20. And let's wait for the Quinella and the trifecta. There it is, 4-6, 31-20 on the Quinella trifecta, 6-4-2, 125-20. Up next, we've got game number 3 and the start of the high 5 in today's performance. Play the high 5, pick the winners of games 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you do so, do so correctly and have the only ticket that does so, you can cash in on the minimum. 2,000 is guaranteed in every performance. Post time for game number 3 is just about 7 minutes away. We'll remind you of the scratch as it affects the high five today because Nicholas is out. That will begin to take effect in game 5. Post 5, scratch Nicholas, replace him with Ben in the backcourt, the 5 team. In game 5 is now Goanaga and Ben. Then game 6, post 8, scratch Nicholas, replace him with Goanaga. Game 6, post 8, scratch Nicholas, replace him with Goanaga. And then finally in game 7, post 1, scratch Nicholas, replace him with Arats, the 1 team in game 7. Now Goanaga and Arats. That is a complete rundown of the scratch of Nicholas as it affects the high five, which is will begin in about 6 minutes.
Andrew.
Stu.
I had to run away.
That's okay.
And I heard some brilliant play-by-play, which is always good to hear. So, question.
Yeah,
I see a lot of chat. So, did you answer for me on Jatna or no?
No, I gave my 2 cents, but I think you have a
What is your 2
deeper
cents?
understanding. Oh, I said I think it is a valuable shot because it gets the opposing front quarter to think a little bit more, and I think more, for positioning. If you can keep the opposing front quarter to the outside, that opens up space, especially if you're playing a weaker back quarter. But I do understand your opinion of it that you don't have a ton of control when you throw it.
Right.
So I don't totally hate it because I think there's a lot of value, and I think that it scores actually at a pretty good rate. But again, that's player specific. There's
Sure.
some players I like seeing throw it, and those players I don't like seeing throw it.
Exactly.
That's the best way to. Yeah.
So, in Jatna, the way that I can explain it is like this: is that backhand 2-walls, like, they weren't a thing; they were an accident, and oftentimes you'll see it. And Andrew points it out very regularly: is that when a player clips, for instance, and scores, well, most players, especially those that come from a traditional background, wave at the other player.
Yeah.
Because they know that they didn't mean to do it. It's like, hey, I got the point. Sorry, not what I was trying to do. It's really kind of like, gentleman's sport type of thing.
Sure. Right.
When you're training in highlight, including the guys in 2018, you're trained to keep the ball on the sidewall. You're trained to keep the ball when throwing backhand, specifically when throwing backhand. Backhands should be generally as close to the sidewall as possible. They call arrimada. So you throw with the backhand and you keep it within inches of the sidewall. And it just sets up, as you hear us say, a much more difficult catch. So the one thing that you do is while training in highlight, while attempting to keep it close to the sidewall, you frequently clip.
Yes.
And in the highlight school are punished for that, for clipping when you throw the backhand. Don't clip with the backhand. So the backhand 2-wall was a shot. Well, it was really more of a frustration shot by the player Guillermo. So we're talking about the 1930s, referred to as a Guillermina, which you've heard me say before, which is as Guillermo got older, one of the players fortunate to play into his older age. Again, we are talking about, almost 100 years ago. The younger players, specifically, I believe it was in Havana, would throw these, drop shots or throw it away from him, whatever.
Yeah.
And so he developed this shot literally as an FU. He literally called it the Guillermina. It's like he would throw it, it would backhand 2-all quick. They'd look at him and like, what are you doing? And it's like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So it was something that was like generally frowned on in traditional highlight. Now, we of course have backed away from traditional highlight. However, the thing that I will say is that you hear me say it frequently, the catches and throws, with the exception of the backhand, which is designed to throw the ball back like you just watched Unda blast it from the backhand, are catches and throws should be above the waist. This Costalo 2-all, pretty much beautifully executed by Unda. He's got control there. When the cesta is down on your left side and it's on the tip, just look at where the ball is on the tip of the cesta when it's above their waist throwing costado, or their forehand when they're throwing over the top or sidearm at the release point, versus where the release point is versus the release point when it's on the backhand. It's always, you throw a good backhand, it's releasing about knee level, below knee level, somewhere in there. So it's not the same control on the upswing, which is where you have to release it. Now, some players are able to do it, and it is, I think, easier to do here. Now, how many of them score? How many of them go into the pad? How many of them are caught by the opponent in the air on the forehand?
We could
yeah,
get
exactly.
to that.
It's
interesting.
So then how effective a shot is it? I agree with Andrew. It's like the guys who I've seen throw it well, which is what's not kind of a thing, but the ones who I do, Manu, obviously.
Yeah.
He sees guys throw their ball, and both of them are cutting back to the inside. Manu has got such control with his backhand that's one player who, I would say that even on the backhand with the ball down that low, he has enough control to do that with. Most of the early game guys, I would say no. Like Tennessee there, he threw a backhand 2-all into the middle of the court that was scooped up at the almost 10 line. There's nothing effective about that shot. So that's where it gets into the individual. Benny's gotten better with it. Benny was tired, and he freely acknowledged that if you go back and you look at the way Benny did it, he snapped his wrist, and the first one worked.
Yeah.
The second one, he hit the pad.
Yeah.
And so throwing the ball into the lower pad is, for me, an anathema. I mean, it's just, I don't care if you want the low and inside off the backhand. I don't care if you hit the pad you hit the lower pad on the serve. That was something that years ago, a couple more times, you're out of here, buddy. Go find another fronton.
I always find it interesting if a player who doesn't ever throw a backhand 2-all throws one in a battle court match.
Yeah.
They never win. It's a sign of desperation. When I see that in battle court, I don't want to name names, but there's some that come to mind. It's like, all right, if he's throwing a backhand 2-all, it feels like it's kind of maybe over. Or mentally for them, they may be,
100%.
There's some tells, with these players.
Oh, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, ready to begin Game 3. It is a spectacular 7 doubles match. Played at 7 points. Points double after the first round of play. Game 3 also begins the high five for today. Serving in the red shirts, post 1, we have Juice and Cabrera. Receiving in the blue, post 2, Julian with El Barba. Ball tipped in the backcourt, point 2. Two-team first up on the board in our third game. Here are the white shirts of post 3. We have Benetrix and Flores. Thank you, Jet. It's really just I'm not trying to justify it. It's just legitimately that's been my entire experience with my own training back at 12 and 13 years old in the Highlight School, and then the years I've been around Highlight. Catch and throw by Flores from the 12. Julian outside. Benetrix stops it. Forehand. Hard to the inside. El Barba. Great catch at the back wall. Rebote. Left side saved by Julian. Hit high. Point 3. Green shirts post 4. Arta and Gallo receive. Benetrix, backhand from the 9. Beautiful catch by Gallo off the wall. Flores, forehand from the 12. Rotate forehand to the outside. Arta's got it on the forehand. Rebote left side by Benetrix. Arta's there, winding up. Costello 2-all. Lands in and scores. Well thrown by Arta, point 4. Black shirts at post 5. CRB and Ben receive. And also the other thing about it is that, like, when it comes to shots, like, for instance, here we do have a rule where players are permitted to scoop the serve or take it bote corrido as long as they're standing between the 4 and 7 line. I'm not a fan. CRB picks the serve and dropped it. Point 4. Yellow shirts post 6. Jedden and under receive. But there are just certain things that, for instance, when you take into consideration for, pari-mutuel or pelota betting, it's like, walk on the court with the understanding that part of your income is based on how you're going to play, so throw deliberate shots. And also, as JR and I have told the players repeatedly, respect the bettors. Just have respect for the fact that it's not just you with money on the line. Here's a catch by Underway up high. Powerful forehand, passes. Rebote, left side. Jedden gets there, stops it. Arta, great catch at the 8, backhand. Dropping. 2 bounces before the rebote thrown. Well played, point 4. 3 points for the green shirt at post 4. Pink shirts at post 7. Ikeda and Tennessee receive. That's an ace for Arta, point 4. 4 on the board with 4 points. Here's post 8 to complete the first round of play and receive. Cool Fitness with Manny. Here's a backhand by Gallo. Rebote. Forehand save by Cool Fitness. Rebote left side by Cool Fitness. Arts is there. Backhand. Rebote forehand save by Cool Fitness. Archer reaches up. Big right side to the outside by Gallo, stopped by Cool Fitness. That's a great catch and return. Caught the backcourt by Gallo. That backhand got away from him, hit the overhead screen, point 8. 8 gets last point of the first round. All matchups are worth 2 points now through the end of the game. First to return, the red shirts of post 1, Juice and Cabrera. Big backhand by Cabrera. Rebote forehand to the inside. Cabrera's there. Backhand 2-all. Is in. And we got a bunch of players who might prefer to wear jerseys that are judges as opposed to, playing highlight. 1-1. What? 1-1. One on the board with 4 points. Here's post 3. Benetrix and Flores. Over serve, point 3. 3 with 3 points. Black shirts post 5. CRB and Ben receive. Here's a backhand by Ben. Catch by Benetrix. Ben's there. Flores on the catch. Backhand from the 11 line. Rotate forehand by Ben. He made the save. Benetrix moves up from the 3. Split placement. Scores. That's why we stay in the cage, so we don't get hit with the ball. Possible game point, white shirts post 3. Benetrix and Flores. Trying to stop them are Jedin and Unda. Mark Butler, the answer to your question is in traditional highlight, there's not a hard, fast rule like we have seen players move back to the 7 line to take the serve bote corrido on the big court. Here at Magic City, there is a definite rule. You have to be in the box taking the serve in the air, or if you want, definitely if you decide to go for it on the bounce. Rebote forehand by Benetrix passes. Unda. Oh, that's a chick-shack thrown perfectly for the win. Point and game. White shirts at post 3. That's Benetrix and Flores. 4 serves to 1. This is a playoff for 2nd and 3rd place. Re-reverie. As soon as this point's over, I'll explain that. It's a very interesting question that you ask. With a solid answer. Juice takes the serve. Soft 2-wall stop by Arta. Carambola on the return scores to win. Four places, 1 shows. Unofficial order finish, 3-4-1. Your price will be up in a moment. Results are official. Coming in first, post 3. Benetrix and Flores taking second, post 4. Artin Gallo coming in third, post 1. Juice and Cabrera. 3-4-1. The official order finish for our 3rd game. There are your prices. $2 Quinella, $3-4, $17. Trifecta 3-4-1, $292.60. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, is our 4th game. It is a spectacular 7 singles match. It's played to 7 points, and points will double after the first round of play. There are no scratches in Game 4, and post time is now just 6 minutes away. Good luck. So, Revere, how does one take an interest in highlights so early? So, that has, in the United States, taking an early interest in highlight has everything to do with access to highlight. And highlight originated in the Basque Country of Spain, the Pyrenees Mountains of Spain and France. And their highlight courts, like all different types of ball sports, are basically in every city of one different type. Some are small, some are giant, some are made for seating 2,000 like in Guernica. So over there, it's kind of like we have baseball fields over here. In the United States, highlight was played in one facility from 1926 for 30 years until the 1950s. Then in the 1950s through the early 70s, there was proliferation to the point where we had 10 frontons in Florida, 3 in Connecticut, 1 in Rhode Island, 2 in Nevada. So to take an interest in highlight, you had to be in one of those cities about that time, and also it was always associated with gambling, so it was always adults. So as a kid, I couldn't go into professional fronton. I was able to sneak in, even though I wasn't interested in betting. When I was 15. But as far as taking an early interest, my father started playing amateur highlight in 1963, 6 years before I was born. So, I had always been around highlight, but I was born and raised in Miami. And then I went to school out of state, not to study highlight, to study something else that I wound up not going into. So early exposure was based on being in the state of Florida. And there are people who found highlight early in the state of Connecticut. I think fewer in Rhode Island, with the one fronton there, and pretty much no one in Nevada. But in Florida, there were, 2 amateur courts at one time, open at one time. Switch. So that's how I was able to take an early interest in it. And then as far as schools were concerned, the schools were supported by the professional frontons. So Miami Highline maintained a school, but really not before 1972. So, I mean, Highline had been played in the United States for years before there was an official training academy with a retired professional Highline player who was assigned to train players. First one, of course, being, the great Epifanio. May he rest in peace. And, of course, the most notable person to graduate from that first group, even though there were many, Joey. Joey, the first super famous American highlight player. Randy predates Joey. And Randy was a fantastic player and a great person, just both of them as well. So training in highlight wasn't a thing until the 1970s. I did it in the 80s, and I did it because my father was associated with it. My parents liked it. And so you had to have access. So if you were in New York, if you were in California, if you were here, if you were there, you'd really have no access to highlight. And hence, and also it wasn't televised. I mean, one of the great mistakes that I blame no one for, it's just one of those really weird things, is when you look at the origin story of ESPN with Mr. Rasmussen, and how he was basically surprised that he, with his satellite and cable, could fill 24 hours of sports, and how they were getting girls softball from the Midwest and anything else that they could get, while there were 3 active professional highlight frontons in the state of Connecticut, same state that ESPN was founded in, and no one.
Yeah.
That to me has
Does that
always
have
been
to do
one.
with wagering?
I just don't have it. I've never gotten a solid answer.
Yeah.
I will say that, wagering in the United States, remember, it wasn't a thing. It was Las Vegas until they opened Atlantic City. And then, the Indian gaming laws were passed in, sorry, I should call them tribal, respectfully. The tribal gaming laws weren't passed until, late 70s, early 80s. And now, of course, we have casinos basically in almost every state. But still, casino gambling and gambling in general was considered a vice in the United States. So, highlight.
It's really been the last 6 to 10 years. It's really taken off. Maybe even less than that. I remember as a kid, you wouldn't talk about betting on ESPN. Now they have segments dedicated to it.
Exactly.
And they have lines and everything. It's really crazy.
Brian D. ESPN employees used to go up to
I'm sure.
Yeah. That
makes sense.
Why didn't one of them say, "Hey, how about we put this? How about we send this around the world on our satellite?" Time. Excellent subject. Thanks, guys. And I hope that answers your question, Revere. And Mark Butler as well. Yeah, got to be between the 4 and 7. Time to begin game number 4. It is a spectacular 7 singles match, played at 7 points. Points double after the first round of play. Serving the red shirt at post 1, we have Arta. Receiving blue at post 2, we have Jairo. Here's the serve. We begin. Costado to the inside. Jairo's there. Tip ball. Point 1. First point 2. Arta. He serves with the white shirt at post 3. Manny. Griswold. Who are the refs? We have 3 refs on today. Ref up in the front is Norge. And center court ref is Rostock. Here's a backhand by Manny. That's a really wonky bounce, but it came out. Manny handles it. Arts is on the catch. Costado 2-all. Lands in and scores. Well done. Point 1. One with 2 points. Here's post 4. The green shirt receives. Gonaga. Here's a backhand by Gonaga. inside placement will score. 4. Black shirt at post 5, now receiving Lalu. Here's a backhand by Lalu. Scoop by Lalu, backhand from the 9 line. What a catch by Gonaga. Scoop attempt miss, 0.5. Entering the court, yellow shirt at post 6. Julin. Julin from the forehand, low and hard to the inside. Rebote dropping, hooked. 0.6. Entering court, pink shirt, post 7. Benny. Here's a backhand by Benny. Rebote. Powerful forehand by Julin. Benny looks for the rebote, saves it right up the middle. Julin's there. Lower and harder. Benny's there again. Backhand from the 11. Rotate forehand again. Julin advances, takes it at the 6. Hard to the inside. Benny's there again. Benny inside placement. That will score. Well played. 0.7. Here now to complete the first round and receive the purple shirt post 8. Etcheberry. Griswold, it is, it's not a might, it is a definite. We will be relocating. Basically, the move will begin as soon as we're finished with the Battle Court Finals that following week. And we'll be all in place before the end of the year and ready to begin without delay, February 9th of 2026, Battle Court. Rebote to the inside. Rebote saved by Benny. Etcheberry going with the Costalo. That came to his forehand, 0.7. We've completed the first round of play. Matchups are worth 2 points now through the end of the game. First to return, the blue of post 2, Hyro. There's a backhand by Hyro, powerfully thrown. Rebote coming out. Rotate forehand by Benny, passing. Benny from the 9 line, wall to wall from the left side he goes. Rotate forehand. Scoop by Hyro. Hook rebote, hit the pad, 0.2. Receiving, white shirt at post 3, Manny. Backhand by Manny. Ball tipped at the sidewall, 0.3. Receiving post 1, Arta. Here's a backhand by Arta. Manny's there. Manny from the 9 line. Powerful rebote thrown by Arta. Manny takes it in the air. Karam caught the pad, point 1. 4 points for post 1, Arta. Receiving in the 4 post. Goenaga. Yeah, Revere. Your first exposure was Jackass. I was actually there that morning. The Jackass story is a. Sorry, the Jackass highlight story is it's a funny story. There's a backhand by Arta. Arta again, this time from the 8 line. Costello, beautifully executed by Arta to score. Possible game point for Arta in the red of post 1, trying to stop him, Lalu. Hey, we just give us something else to talk about in between. And yes, of course, the Miami Vice. There was an entire episode of Miami Vice, if you like Miami Vice, called Kill Shot that was structured entirely around highlight. Over serve, 0.5, play continues. Lalu has 3 points in the black post 5. He's serving to the returning 6 post, Julian. Yeah, in fact, one of the players who was part of the Jackass episode is operating the front camera right now. Adam. There's a backhand by Julian. Point 6. Etcheberry receives, purple post 8. Shmuel, welcome to the broadcast, tuning in from Turkey. My goodness. Powerful backhand by Etcheberry. Etcheberry now from 9 line. 2-all. Scores, point 8. 8 with 2 points. Here's post 7. Benny. Here's a backhand by Benny. Ball tipped. Point 7. 4 points for the 7 team receiving. Post 2. Hyro. Here's a backhand by Hyro. Rebote left side saved by Benny for the big bounce. Hyro cuts it off at the 7. Ball tip, point 2. Hyro has 4 points. Receiving the white of post 3, Manny. Here's the backhand by Manny. Rebote, forehand by Hyro. Manny saves the rebote beautifully on the left side. Hyro midcourt. Manny again. Rebote. Haro back to the 10 line. Forehand hard to the inside. Backhand by Haro. Scoop by Manny. Missed. No way you were going to kick that ball. Seriously? Not Manny. No. Point 2. Possible game point for Hiro. Blue post 2. Trying to stop him. Goenaga. Powerful forehand by Hiro. Goenaga's there. Backhand from the 9. Rebote forehand. That clears the overhead screen. Goenaga. That is perfect. That is just a perfect throw by Goenaga. Forehand outside placement of the rebote from the side wall. Tricky enough as is. Point 4. Play will continue. For 3 points. Here's post 1. Returning with possible game point, Arta. Yeah, that was... It's enough to be able to make the catch at the sidewall. Or the rebote at the sidewall, rather. But to turn it into a shot? My, oh, my. Backhand 2-all. Lands in and scores. Point and game. Post 1, Arta. No playoff here. 2 places, 7 shows. Unofficial order finish, 1, 2, 7. Your prices will be up in a moment. Results from Game 4 are official. Coming in first, post 1, Arta. Taking second, post 2, Hiro. Coming in third, post 7, Benny. 1, 2, 7, the official order finish for Game 4. There are your prices. $2 Quinella, 1-2, $25.20. Trifecta, 1, 2, 7, $229 even. $2 wager on 1 to win, $14.20. Pick 3, early pick 3, 6, 3, 1, 3 of 3 numbers returning to $13.20. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, is game number 5. It is a spectacular 7 doubles match. Don't forget, Nicholas, as announced at the opening of the program, is scratched in all his scheduled appearances today. Game 5, post 5. Scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Ben. Game 5, post 5. Scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Ben. Post time for our 5th game. Now about 7 minutes away. Good luck. So, someone asked... Thanks, Tom Clark. Yep, was a nice game. Great shot by Goenaga there. Huh? So, someone had asked about the Jackass episode. Of course, that was at Miami Highlight back in, I want to say 98? 99, maybe? So, what happened was, as they were looking for wacky and crazy things to do, they contacted, as is often the case, our public relations / advertising department at the former Miami Highlight, current casino, Miami. And they basically said, we want our guys to, you know, stand and have you throw highlight balls at them. And it was like, no. And the explanation that was given to them at the time, it's like, you know, we obviously understand the concept of your show, but would you allow them to stand, for instance, at an outdoor gun range and hold targets?
With those guys, I don't know, but you wouldn't think so.
That was a legitimate
Yeah.
response that I gave. I mean, it did get round tabled, and it was like that's the thing that I came up with, is that highlight players do throw with a high degree of accuracy, but things do happen, and I can't get the list of highlight players who, for instance, they can all hit one of the boxes. Everyone who, for the most part, almost everyone who plays here. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. You can tell them a box to hit on the front wall, and they'll hit the box. But if you say hit the center of that box, that's a push. That's a push for, like, Manu. Yeah, Manu probably. And then the list gets fairly short after Manu as far as who can throw at that degree of accuracy. So they came back with the concept, or someone came up with the idea of fruit. They came up with the idea of fruit. And, but this was done, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering 25 years ago, that Jackass episode was done on a Saturday before the matinee. So
There's a lot of tarp down, I remember.
yeah, exactly. Is that we knew it would be juicy, so we laid it. So first of all, it's like, contact the attorneys and have them sign tons of releases. Just every type of release you can imagine to protect us. And then Adam was one of the players. Adam, currently working with us here. Adam, Benny. I forget after that. I remember Adam and Benny Bueno, of course, who manages up now at our friends Up 95. But all of them were hard throwers. And my one recollection of that experience was that, and it wasn't run by me, for the record. It wasn't run by me. It was run by Lou Matiso, who was in charge of public relations at the time. And, of course, overseen from a distance by Mr. Licciardi. And after the releases were signed, I forget who threw the first one, but they threw an orange. And when they threw the orange,
They have their reaction.
At first, they were facing the players. That's how they started. They did start facing the players that were throwing the stuff. That ended after the first or second throw by Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville said, no, this isn't. And then they moved into standing, and then they moved into a kneeling position. And then you saw the episode from there. You're firing a piece of fruit, and some of the hardest throwers in professional highlight at that time. And I know that Steve-O, I believe, was hitting the ribs or the back. And Knoxville, Mr. Knoxville, of course, met him one time, so obviously, not going to call him Johnny or Knoxville, but just Mr. Knoxville. He got hit twice, and I believe the second one was like the outside of the knee.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
And it effed him up. I mean, it did. I mean, it definitely effed him up. There was... There we go, straight from a guy who was there. So Adam, say it again. Who'd you hit? You hit Steve-O. Adam hit Steve-O first. Then he hit Johnny. Adam was angry at the time. Then he hit Johnny Knoxville. Then he hit Johnny Knoxville in the leg.
That's the one.
Then Eddie Fernandez hit Steve-O the second time in the leg, and he fell on the ground. That's like, we're done.
That's the image I remember, where he falls down, he gets hit again. Oh, my God. I think they show the bruising that happened pretty quickly afterwards. I mean, it wasn't like a couple hours, like minutes, and it was, oh, my God.
Oh, no. You see a highlight player gets hit.
Dark purple.
He walks off the court. He walks off the court. You know right away. You know right. Wow, Director Brian. So Adam reports that PR guy called him and basically said that Knoxville was having a difficult time breathing on the way back to L.A. Steve-O was having a hard time breathing on the way back to L.A. And that when they got back there, the rib was actually broken. This is throwing fruit, not even throwing a highlight ball.
But a nice crisp, a honey crisp apple. I mean, that could do some damage too. Oh.
Yeah, no, that's why we said a highlight ball. It's like you're out of your mind. There's no way we're going to.
The orange I remember specifically because that shell, I mean, it's soft interior, but the exterior, that can't. Oh, man.
Well, and also just the speed of the projectile coming at you is just, you know, crazy.
They react, because I remember the whole thing. It's a vivid memory. The first throw, they're like, oh, shit. Yeah, okay. Maybe Stu was right. They were 25 years ago.
5. Spectacular 7 doubles match. Play to 7 points. Points double after the first round of play. Serving red shirts of post 1. Benetrix and Douglas receiving blue post 2. Alex and Julian. There's the serve. We begin. Julian, backhand from the 11. Benetrix from the 7. Powerful forehand. This one caught by Douglas. Alex on the catch. Backhand to the inside. CCG Inc. I'll give you a detailed answer as soon as this point's finished of where you can find the programs for Pelota. First of all, we'll start off with the WJAL website, World Highlight League website. So you want to start there. Here's the catch by Julian. Powerful forehand. Douglas takes it in the air. Backhand. Hard to the inside. Julian's there. Douglas again up high. Lower backhand. Alex down low. Benetrix on the forehand. That scores. Point 1. One team first up on the board in our 5th game. That'll bring the court. White shirts post 3. Jairo and Manu. CCG Inc. So you navigate to the World Highlight main page. You go to, I believe it's Formats on the top. And it will give you a drop-down menu that says Pelota or Battle Court. You pick Pelota, and then you go to Entries and Results. And on that Entries and Results page, there's both a text file and a PDF of each program for Tuesday and Thursday. We just have this Tuesday and Thursday up. We posted on Friday in case there's any, scratches that we know of in advance. So main page, format, Pelota, entries and results, and then you'll see the PDF for the program. There's a backhand by Benetrix for Bote coming out. Manu now from the 12 line to the inside. Douglas is there. Douglas again, this time from the 12 line. Jairo, sidewall. Benetrix powerfully from the forehand. Manu takes it in the air. Low runner. Benetrix gets in there to make the catch at the 9. Backhand to the outside. Manu. Well, that's a Robote missed in the backcourt. Point 1. Along with 2 points, here are the green shirts of post 4, Echeverry and Benny. CCG Inc., the specific location it's actually been spoken about publicly, but it has not been released in a press release for our announcer's booth. So it's not a very well-kept secret, but it's also not something, the specific location is not something we're discussing. Probably not until the last day of Pelota we'll probably discuss it. But I need a bullet point release to talk about it from our executive office, from our C-suite. I don't have it. Benny on the catch. 2-all. Benetrix gets out there. Good read. Carambola, D, will score. Point 1. Three points. Here's a post 5. The black shirts receive. Goanaga in the front court. Substituting for Nicholas in the back is Ben. We are definitely staying in South Florida, though. We can announce that. There's the backhand by Ben. I've teased it a couple times, even in my attire. Not today. Here's the backhand by Ben. Andrew gets it. Douglas on the catch. Here's the backhand from the 10. Ben on the forehand. Great catch. Right side to the backcourt. Douglas, backhand from the 10. Hard to the inside. Ben reaching in, makes a catch. That backhand gets away, hits the overhead screen. 4 points for the one team. Benetrix and Douglas receiving. Yellow shirts of post 6, Arutia and Cabrera. Brian D mentioned for the release. Stu's Magical World of High. Why are we naming so much about highlight? I'm flattered on one hand and simultaneously horrified on the backhand. Stu all like I didn't sleep well this week. A beautiful catch by Douglas at the 13. Cabrera's there. Douglas calls for the catch. Backhand, powerfully thrown. Cabrera from the 11. Rebote forehand by Benetrix, caught by Cabrera. Douglas powerfully to the inside. Cabrera's there again. Douglas from the 12, along the wall. Arutia, beautiful catch at the side wall. Douglas pulls it off the wall. Backhand thrown hard. Cabrera. Low and inside, scooped by Douglas. Benetrix on the catch. Splitter. Cabrera went for the scoop, has a tip ball, point 1. 5 points for the one team. Benetrix and Douglas receiving. Pink shirts of post 7, Iñaki and Unda. Stu's Wonderful World of Highlight. My goodness. Again, truly flattered, but no, too big a logo. And also not my money. I'm an employee of the organization. Here's the backhand. You could substitute the Stu with another name, and that would be appropriate. Powerful throw by Benetrix. What a scoop by Unda. Big backhand. Rebote kicks out to the 5 line. Fired from the forehand of Benetrix. Unda's there. That one took off, hit the overhead screen, point 1. Straight points, 2. A possible game point for the red shirts at post 1. Benetrix and Douglas trying to stop them are Lalu and Aratz. Rebote left side. Cut off in the air by Lalu. Lalu to the outside. That's stopped on the forehand of Benetrix. Great catch. Wonderful save by Aratz. Benetrix moves all the way up to the 3-line. Carambola on the return to score. Point and a perfect game with no other points on the board for the red shirts of post 1. Benetrix and Douglas. Long playoff for second and third. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 2 first serves to 3. The kind, generous, and wonderful Mr. Savin's Magical World of Highlight. It's too long. True, but too long. Here's a backhand by Manu. Rebote. Julian from the forehand to the inside. Rebote forehand. Hiro makes the catch. Alex on the rebote inside. Manu's there. Brian D, that's pretty specific. Rebote forehand. Manu on the catch. Backhand from the 9 line. Alex snags it on the forehand. Back to the inside he goes. Rebote left side by Alex. Manu takes it overhead at the 10 line. Pika. Stopped by Julian. Julian, great catch at the sidewall. Powerful backhand follows. Ira moves out. Rotate forehand. Cut off by Alex. Split placement by Alex is stopped by Manu. Point 3. 3 with 2 points. Green shirts to post 4 receiving. Etcheberry and Benny. Here's a catch by Benny, backhand. Powerfully thrown. Rebote coming out. Rebote for Etcheberry. Manu from the 12, low runner. Scooped up by Benny. Benny again to the inside. Manu is there. Big backhand by Manu. Rebote coming out. Rebote forehand. Stopped by Manu. Benny on the catch. Rotate forehand save by Etcheberry. Etcheberry again at the side wall. Good catch. Powerful backhand. Rebote kicks out for Jairo. 2-all stopped by Jairo on the outside. It's rather fortunate that Benny didn't get to that rebote because Manu was there. Point 3. Three with 4 points. Here's post 5. Possible. Place point for post 3. Big backhand. Manu is there. Big bounce brought down by Manu. Point 5. Yellow shirts post 6, Arutia and Cabrera. There's a backhand by Cabrera. Two all. It's out. Point 5. Four points and a possible place point. 4. Gonaga and Ben trying to stop them. Iñaki and Unda. Over serve, point 7. Purple shirts, a post 8, return Lalu and Rotz. Here's a backhand by Rotz. Unda is there. Inaki calls for the rebote, puts it inside. Rotz from the 11 line. Ball tipped, point 8. Eight now with 2 points, serving the 2 post. The blue shirts return. Alex and Julian. Rotz on the catch. Backhand to the inside. Alex is there. Cortada by Alex, stopped by Lalu. Alex will take this on the bounce, on the forehand. Powerful forehand follows. Rotz is there. That backhand took off. That hit the overhead screen. Point 8. Possible place point for post 8. Lalu and Rotz trying to stop them. Echeberry and Benny. Here's a backhand by Rotz. Rotz again, powerful throw. Passes Benny. Rebote on the inside. Echeberry's there. Benny again. Echeberry now from the 8 line. Wall to wall from the left side. Rebote turned on the forehand of Lalu. 2-all. Scores. 4 with 2 points, returning with possible place point. The white shirts a post 3. Jairo and Manu. Manu overhead. Outside placement. Will score. Point and place to post 3. Jairo and Manu. 5 serves 8. This is show point. There's a backhand by Rotz for Bote coming out. Bote save. Ball tipped in the backcourt. 8 shows. Unofficial order of finish, 1-3-8. Your prices will be up in a moment. Results from Game 5 are official. Coming in first, posts 1, Benetrix and Douglas. They had a perfect game. Taking second, posts 3, Hyro and Manu. Coming in third, post 8, Lalu and Arats. 1, 3, 8. The official order finished for Game 5. There are your prices. $2 Quinello, 1-3, $17. Trifecta, 138, $298.60. $2 wager on one to win, $16.40. Up next, Game 6, spectacular 7 singles match. Played to 7 points, with points doubling after the first round of play. Game 6 will begin the late pick 3. Play the pick 3, correctly pick the winners of games 6, 7, and 8. There's a scratch. Game 6, post 8, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Goenaga. Game 6, post 8, scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Goenaga. Post time for Game 6 now, 6 minutes away. Good luck. Jerry Atheson, I see what you're saying there. That, you know, are you asking someone if they're saying that Battle Court's not real highlight? I mean, you know, we've resolved that question quite a long time ago. And unfortunately, you know, for the most part, we don't hear much of that anymore, you know, because it's, you know, that debate as to what does constitute real highlight and not real highlight is just, it's really stale because, I mean, the argument can literally go back to, I don't know, let's say the 1940s or 50s, you know, when you didn't have 2-on-2 anymore, when you started Quinellos, you know, with the round robin and points doubling after the first round of play. I could have easily seen a group of people at that time saying that's not highlight. You know, highlight's played to 35 points. You know, it's played to 35 points, and players take breaks when they need, and there's 2-on-2, and you may have a few games ahead of it, you know, to show people something, but that's highlight. It's like, you know, and then also as far as like, you know, the holding issue, you know, you look at the players who went back when they played without helmets, basically through the, you know, late 60s, you know, catch, throw. Literally the momentum of the ball on the right side would come into the cesta and would draw their arm back. They didn't catch it and stop it. They literally caught it, it came back, the wrist would flip just slightly, and that would stop the ball, and then they returned it. Now we have, well, of course, nowadays, you know, that's even evolved. So there's so many different ways, you know, what is highlight, what is not. This is obviously highlight. Battle court's obviously highlight. You know, whatever size court it's being played on, it's highlight. You know, if you're playing it with a cesta, you know, there's another sport. Switch, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, there's another sport that looks similar if you look quickly at remonte, R-E-M-O-N-T-E. Long wicker baskets, different shape, with more of a slapping motion. That's not highlight, that's remonte. That's something else. But yes, if you're wearing a cesta and the cesta's tied on and you catch and throw, it's highlight. It's highlight, regardless of the size of the court.
Noel brings up, I mean, Noel is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was one of our newer fans, but he associates, he just said, because as I understand it, the shorter court defines the battle court highlight concept. No. Would you say that's true?
No, that's not.
Okay.
No, that's not true. Battle court, he is right. Battle court can be, you can have a battle court, you know, that's the format. You know, the team format, you can play that out on any highlight court.
Okay.
If you have 6 teams, 5 teams, 10 teams.
Yeah. Battle court's the team concept.
Battle court is the team and the scoring concept.
Okay.
And the
battle court scoring. As you say, I mean, I sit next to you.
Yeah. So
that part I've kind of tuned out.
Yeah, well, no, it's one of those things when you say it repeatedly. It's like you've been saying it now repeatedly for 6 years. I've been saying it a lot of these things repeatedly for 30 years.
Yeah, you just wake up and.
So, battle court is not defined by the size of the court. I will say that what we call Magic City highlight, which that name is about to, you know, that name's also about to change because we won't be at Magic City. Just by virtue of the fact of not being here. You know, it's not going to be Magic City highlight, but people always kind of refer to it at Magic City reflexively. Yeah. They're going to do that. The short court, I think, is the best way to say it. They've always had short courts. You just haven't seen that, and that's not what was built in the United States. But the amateur court at Miami was 150 feet. That's the court that we learned to play on. That was the big court. and 150 feet is,
So a little shorter
is
than most
26
of the-
feet short less than Miami.
Yeah.
28 feet shorter than Dania. And as far as Mexico City and Havana, it's like, so that's where, early on when I started firing back at the, right now I'm talking to Andrew, but, when I started firing back at the chat, it's like, I'm talking about short court not being real highlight. There's no real dimensions for a highlight court. There's approximate dimensions.
I've always found that most interesting. In most other ball court field sports.
Uniformity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that just adds to,
Yeah.
that's what makes highlight so unique.
Absolutely.
And special,
Absolutely. It's not, are we too short? Is Mexico City too big?
That's what folks are starting to ask. Yeah.
Is it too big? All right. We'll answer that another time.
We got game number 6, start of the feature singles games.
We're ready to begin game 6. It is a spectacular 7 singles match. The first of our 2 feature singles match. Played 2, 7 points. Points will double after the first round of play. Up first and serving, the red shirt at post 1, Arats. Receiving the blue at post 2, Iturbide. There's a serve by Arats. Our 6th game has begun. Backhand by Arats. Rebote. Arats moves in, jumped up, has a tip. Point 2. White shirt, post 3 now receiving is Manu. Beautiful catch by Manu overhead. Iturbide, the drop shot. That scores. Great throw by Manu. Excellent play and return by Iturbide. Point 2. Green shirt at post 4, Iñaki receives. Rebote left side is a Costalo 2-all. Stopped by Iñaki. Iturbide steps up to take that return in the air. Beautifully played. Iñaki on the rebote. Iturbide is there. Costalo 2-all. Opens and scores. Point 2. 2 with 3 points. Here's post 5. Alex. Hi, Noel. Yes, in Spain and France, they have 36-meter courts, which is we're 120 feet, so we constitute a 36-meter court. Typically, point 2. 4 points for the 2 post. Yellow shirt at post 6 receiving. Here's Gaucheri. By history, with the shorter court, they've, and then again, this is just by tradition. They've kept 36-meter courts for professional singles only and more for youth doubles and now women's doubles. Of course, women are also playing on the big courts in Spain and France. 2-all. Rebote scores. Point 2. 5 points for the 2 post. Iturbide. Receiving. Douglas. Realistically, no. Magic City started off, traditional highlight just on a smaller court. Just all quinellas and 2 performances a day, and what you're seeing right now. Battle court came around as a result of the need to change. Douglas maneuvers, makes the catch, the drop shot, read by Iturbide. Iturbide inside placement will score. Point 2. Iturbide has gone straight points. He has 6. Possible game point. Trying to stop him. Gonaga. And Adam's response is right on. So yes, Highlight is played on a multitude of different size courts. Most commonly longer courts. 2-all. That's out. Point 8. An excellent 6 straight points for Iturbide. We've completed the first round of play. Matchups are worth 2 points now through the end of the game. First to return, the red of post 1, Arats. CCG Inc., whatever it takes for you to be a fan, we'll work on it. Point 8. 8 with 3 points. Here's post 3, Manu. That's basically been the concept of Magic City the entire time. Before there was Battle Court, there was H2H, and then the team format came in, and it's basically not waiting for evolutionary changes to take place in the sport, but making those changes happen. Powerful forehand by Manu. What a scoop by Goenaga. Manu, tremendous catch at the 10 line. Backhand follows. Another beautiful catch by Manu. Backhand from the 10 line again. Backhand 2-all with a light touch. Goenaga has it on the forehand. Drop shot. Will score. Point 8. Possible game point. Purple shirt at post 8. Goenaga trying to stop him. Iñaki. The real credit has to be given, I mean, for the, obviously Scott and Lindsay and the team, and after that to the players, because the players have had to adjust and also adjust financially. Because, yes, they do all get a base salary, but prize money is a major part of it. And the prize money has just evolved and then evolved for different players as well. So the players deserve full credit for their flexibility as we've made changes trying to make Highlight something big again. Forehand by Goenaga, scooped up by Iñaki. Here's the backhand. But there was no blueprint for what we're doing at the beginning of it. Scoop by Iñaki. Here's the backhand. Just openness to ideas, and usually I'm the one that's trailing on that. Point a game, post 8, Goenaga. 8 wins at 2 places, 5-6, 7-1, 3-4, pair off and playoff for 3rd place, 5 first serves to 6. But my days of naysaying are like long gone. Because the old way didn't work. Rebote forehand, beautifully played by Gaucheri. Alex is there. Gustavo 2-all. In and scores, point 5. 7 now serves to 1. Rebote forehand by Douglas. Backhand to the outside, scooped up by Douglas. Douglas powerfully from the forehand. Arats will look for the rebote. Rebote to the outside, Douglas is there. Carom by Douglas opens and scores, point 7. 3 now serves to 4. The winner of this point meets 5 and 7 in the continuing playoff for show. Jatna, he came close. To have 2 runouts back-to-back, 1 in doubles and 1 in singles, is pretty rare. Especially out of the 1 or 2 with no other points on the board, that's exceptionally rare. There's a backhand by Iñaki. Rebote, forehand by Manu. Iñaki on the catch, backhand from the 9. Inside placement by Iñaki scores, point 4. 5, 7, and 4 remain in the playoff for third place. 5 serve 7. There's a backhand. Scoop by Alex. Douglas on the catch. Alex got in there, made the catch. Robote. Alex again. Costado. That's out. Boy, there's a lot of activity going on within only single middle of the court. It's flashes of light and stuff. 0.7. Possible show point for Douglas, trying to stop him. Iñaki. Rotate forehand by Douglas. Rotate left side by Iñaki. Douglas is there. 2-all, 2 score. 7 shows. Unofficial order finish, 8-7. Your prices will be up in a moment. Results from Game 6 are official. Coming in first, post 8. Goenaga taking second, post 2. Iturbide coming in third. Post 7, Douglas, 8-7. That's official order finish for Game 6. There are your prices. $2 Quinella, 2-8. That's first and second in any order. $96.60. Trifecta, 8-7. $956.20. $2 wager on 8 to win, $14.20. First number for the late pick 3, the number 8. 2 games left before we play Battle Court this afternoon at 5 p.m. Battle Court between the Renegades and the Cyclones. 5 p.m. Up next, Game 7, which will conclude the high 5. Play to 7 points. Points double after the first round of play. There's a scratch. Game 7, post 1. Scratch Nicholas. Replace Nicholas with a Rotz. Game 7, post 1. Scratch Nicholas. Replace Nicholas with a Rotz. Post time for our 7th game. Now 7 minutes away. Good luck. So, CCG Inc., a former amateur. What year would that have been in? I was in the last management team at Tampa Highline 98. No, I'll change one of the names of the teams to the Jets. That's above the naming of the teams are above my pay grade. Sometimes I admire when our players come up with, like when they first saw the one that I found myself laughing about it last night when the Devils logo came out, and who was it referred to it as a crack panda? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You know, with the glowing eyes. It was.
Is it not the same? It was a little altered, right? They changed it a bit.
That I don't know, to be honest with you. It's like
I thought it was pretty.
I am kind of oblivious to things like that, though. I hope that at some point, demand indicates it, and we're able to sell one of those teams. Remember, you too can own a highlight team for a season. I mean, I'm not out here hawking it, but
you should.
I'm not out here hawking it.
You want to own one? You can do it. You can draft. You can do the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely. And
come on down.
It's not come on down. There's a few steps that happen.
We got to call Scott first, and then you got to
There's a check, and there's a check that needs to be written. I guess I imagine he would take cash, but if you're paying that amount of money in cash, probably. Well, anyways, besides
more
the point.
questions.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're interested in owning a highlight team for a season, go to the website, contact us. You will not be contacting me. I have nothing to do with that part of the business. That would be interesting to see, like a group of old highlight fans getting together and buy a team.
Well, you see that, in sports, ownership groups buying a team. But I like the vision, Stu. Maybe just a group of, players, people that love the sport, played the sport, still enjoy watching it. That could be a good fit. But
CCG, so you played 1988. Okay, so the year of the that thing that began with an S in April. I have the date. I used to have the date memorized. April of 1988. And to 94. All right. Yeah, I rolled in after that. In 94, I started Miami at 94 and 91 announcing. Then went into management in 97. They said, go to Tampa, you'll love it. And I did. I did. Just it was a particularly difficult time. Like a real difficult time. Ernesto Del Toro, you got 50 for what? And hello. And how much?
Maybe he was talking about the syndicate for a team.
Oh,
He's got
okay.
$50.
All right, well, that's a start.
And 2, we'll take it.
You know, if we contributed everything that Ernesto's donated over the years, and the
he could get a team
chats
for
or
a day,
it is,
I think.
I think, yeah. I think
that's
team for a day.
Now that,
okay,
Stu,
you discuss
there
it with
you go.
Scott. I
now
can't.
Now that is something.
Yeah, especially when.
Well, if you divide the rate by 15 game days, I think that's that makes more sense.
Just someone coming up to me with a complaint. An owner, it's like, no, owners need to deal with Scott. No, I'm terribly. I did say this to an owner one time. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. I think you know who I'm talking about. Very nice guy. I'm very interested in the team. And he just hit me up with this issue, and I said, I'm terribly unable to help you. Please call Scott or Lindsay. I focus on the announcing and the player.
Well, they don't even let you like or reply for anything less than $2. Did you notice that? So the second one you sent, Ernesto, we can comment, we could like it. But the first for $2, what's going on with that, YouTube? We'll happily take the 2. You should be able to like and comment on that also.
As I was watching the Battle Court play from last Friday, it occurred to me that you could possibly turn chat.
Oh, the post-game show. You got Stu with post-game show.
Oh, someone brought that up?
Well, that's what he said. Turn it on for post-game show only.
Oh, post-game show only. Oh. So the idea is this, is that, and I completely understand it. So the folks that pay the bills and write the rules, who I have tremendous admiration for, and let's face it, they have written many checks and continue to. Thank God. And support the program, believe the program, as do we all. As soon as, they're looking for Battle Court to basically be, if NBC, CBS, or ABC contacted Scott and said, hey, we'd like to show, that is the dream. ESPN3 is great. You'd like, I think, ESPN2, ESPN1, and every other thing. And what you don't need, which they've been very honest with me, is a highlight announcer going off on someone in the chat because they say this isn't real highlight, or that's a softball, or this is garbage, or something else. Because, so, I've committed to them that if they did turn it on, I obviously know how to answer questions professionally, and I do believe that as far as differentiation is concerned, because that is one thing I do know about marketing, is like there's a book written called Differentiate or Die, that a sport in which you could, even if we don't read them in real time, if they were passed on to us by, someone, which happened the other night in the post game, that I could have discipline enough to answer questions responsibly in Battle Court, yes, as well as, and I know you could too.
I was going to say, absolutely.
Of course.
Let's play Game 7. Final doubles of the day.
Time to get our 7th game. It is a spectacular 7 doubles match. Play to 7 points. Points double after the first round of play. Serving red shirts, post 1. Goenaga and Aratz. Aratz substituting for Nicholas. Receiving blue, post 2. Gosheri and Ben. Here's the serve. We begin. Aratz on the catch. Backhand from the 9. Wall to wall. Out to the rebote. Point 1. One team first up on the board here in our 7th game. That'll bring to the court the white shirts of post 3, Echeberry and Benny. Cute, Ernesto. There's a backhand by Benny. Forehand by Rotz, high and hard to the front wall. Benny's there. I think that everybody has demonstrated that feelings are sometimes easily hurt. I'm not saying too easily hurt, but easily hurt. And retribution is just an ugly thing all the way around. Here's the catch by Rotz, backhand to the inside. Ball tip, point one. One on the board with 2 points. One on the board with 2 points. Here's the green shirts, post 4. Iñaki and Unda. Oh, no, there's no question about it. This is an absolute political free zone, 100%. We sometimes talk about political history. I mean, I do, not just political history, but, you know, presidential history and stuff like that, which is a big interest of mine. But, yeah, nothing current. Nothing current. Here's a catch by Rotz, backhand. Unda, backhand from the 10 line to the inside. Rotz is there. On down the catch, here's the backhand. Rotz on the catch, backhand to the inside. Robote, forehand by Goanaga. And on the forehand, off the bounce. Rotz from the 10 line, backhand. Robote forehand saved by Iñaki. Goanaga from the 7, forehand. Low and hard. Missed in the backcourt, point one. 3 points for the red shirts of post 1. Goanaga and Rotz. Receiving, Iturbide and Gallo. Tampa Town, we got that. Yes, Kings Court Highline in Florida City is no more. Yes. Here's the backhand. Goanaga without control of that ball. That's basically how that happens. Point goes to the 5. Yellow shirts of post 6 now receiving Benetrix and Douglas. The OG glass court. That's funny, actually. I've never heard it referred to like that, Tampa Town. The OG glass. Yeah, it was the first here in the United States. Robote forehand. Benetrix on the catch. Douglas on the backhand from the 10. Powerfully thrown. Robote at the side wall. Tribute makes a save. Benetrix is there. Gallo from the 11. Robote left side by Iturbide. The Filo Robote caught the pad. The pad is bad, point 6. Pink shirts of post 7. Jairo and Manu receive. Here's the backhand by Manu. Douglas hard to be inside. Big backhand by Douglas. Clears the overhead screen back to the wall. That's a beautiful throw by Jairo. Douglas on the Robote. Manu. up high. Douglas down from the 11. Douglas again, backhand. Hiro from the forehand. Rebote left side. Point. What did you say, Hiro? 0.6. 6 for 2 points. Here's post 8, Arrutia and Cabrera. That was funny. It's said frequently, but Hiro's comedic timing is like, you know, better than most. It's a powerful serve by Benetrick, backhand by Cabrera. Douglas is there. Beautiful rebote to the outside will score for Arrutia, 0.8. We've completed the first round of play. Matchups are worth 2 points now through the end of the game. First return, blue opposed 2. Gosheri and Ben. Oh, for serve, 0.2. Two on the board with 2 points. Here's post 3. Etcheberry and Benny. I can honestly say that no city in the United States would be out of the question that would have a highlight program like this and support it. I mean, the support is the key. You know, they have to be financially viable. They absolutely have to be financially viable. And that's what we've been working towards. But yeah, Tampa's a tremendous highlight city. Catch by Etcheberry. 2-all by Etcheberry scores, 0.3. 3 with 2 points. Here's post 4. Iñaki and Unda. Backhand by Unda, powerfully thrown. That was dropping and scores, 0.4. 4 with 2 points. Here's post 1, Goanaga and Arats. Thank you for the prayer, Tampa T-Town. Our prayers are with you as well. There's a backhand by Unda. Powerful, powerful backhand by Unda. Clears the overhead screen. Rebote forehand. Fired back. Unda is there. Rebote left side. Unda, rebote save. Nicely played. Arats from the 12 to the inside. And on the catch, backhand from the 10. Magic City bounce to the outside. Goanaga's on it for the rebote. Big bounce, tipped, 0.1. Possible game point, red shirts of post 1, Goanaga and Arats trying to stop them, Iturbide and Gallo. There's a backhand by Goanaga. What a catch by Gallo, off the wall. Rebote forehand, beautifully played by Iturbide. Arats turns to take it on the rebote. Soft touch to the inside. Iturbide has it, winds up. Split placement, stopped on the forehand of Arats. Karen by Arats with the soft touch, stopped by Gallo. Great read by Gallo. The Cortada attempt caught the pad. Point in game, post 1. Goanaga and Arats. 1 wins it. 6-2, 3 and 4. Pair off and playoff for second and third. 6 first serves to 2. There's a catch by Douglas in the backcourt. Powerful forehand. Robote coming out. Robote by Gaucheri to the inside. Ball tipped. Point 6. 3 now serves to 4. The winner of this point meets 6 in the continuing playoff for second and third. Benny on the catch. There's the backhand thrown high and hard to the front wall. Robote coming out. Backhand by Benny. Beautiful catch by Iñaki. Big backhand by Unda. Robote by Benny. And then now on the forehand. Catch by Etcheberry. Etcheberry to the inside. Unda's there. Big right side. Caught by Benny. Beautiful catch by Unda, peeling it off the side wall. Backhand by Benny. Unda's there again. Etcheberry for the Robote. High to the front wall. Robote saved by Unda. Stays inside. Benny's there. Benny again, backhand to the inside. Unda, forehand, in and out of the cesta. Point 3. Six serves to 3. This is place and show point. Powerful backhand by Douglas, caught by Benny. Rotate forehand by Benetrix, caught by Benny. Big backhand by Benny. Benetrix split placement, but too high. That's out of play. 3 places, 6 shows. Unofficial order finish, 1-3-6. Your prices will be up in a moment. Results are official. Coming in first, post 1. Goenaga with Aratz. Aratz was substituting for Nicholas. Taking second, post 3. Etcheberry with Benny. Coming in third, post 6. Benetrix and Douglas. 1-3-6. The official order finished for Game 7. $2 Quinello 1-3, $14.60. Trifecta 1-3-6, $260 even. The high five, 3-1-1-8-1, 4 of 5 numbers returning $246. Carryover jackpot, $246.09. Remember, high five, $2,000 guarantee. Up next is...
You know what's crazy, Stu, is that actually worked. I swear on my life.
Andrew's having a fit.
This mouse wasn't working. The 4th time I smashed it, it worked. Go figure.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Up next, Game 8. It's a spectacular 7 singles match. Played to 7 points. Points double after the first round of play. There's a scratch. Game 8, post 1. Scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Aratz. Game 8, post 1. Scratch Nicholas, replace Nicholas with Aratz. Post time for Game 8. 6 minutes. Good luck.
Remind me of Hustle City, man. Everybody got more than one gig. I sell ice cream, rather sell a CD.
I have a security company, a beauty salon.
I've been doing music for a very long time.
I'm not your neighborhood Uber driver. I do luxury. And then I have another job. I play highlights.
We're looking to transition from dog racing to highlight. I went to the university. I said, listen, I have this crazy idea. Do you think we could send something out to all the ex-athletes for the last 20 years and say, we're looking to hire and train highlight players?
They paying us, man, and we can win big money.
Let me see what this is all about.
That's what you gotta do. Get some money.
The players taking the court are all athletes you may recognize.
Baseball, football, track and field.
If you're going to come into this sport, you got to be dedicated. It's going to be a piece of cake.
We knew going in, they're not going to be great the first day.
It'll be like the Jamaicans with the bobsled team. Game time now, man.
This is going to be the first time that my kids will be able to sit in the audience and root for their father.
Who wants it more?
This is a sacrifice I think is going to pay off in the end.
This is a dream for me.
I got to win.
Can't get drama better than this.
Highlight became the new hustle.
Let's get ready to play.
And folks, that was a trailer for the award-winning documentary about the inaugural season of play right here at Magic City that is called Magic City Hustle, directed by the great Billy Corbin, creator of Cocaine Cowboys. Cocaine Cowboys, Screwball to You, and much more, folks. Oh man, I think where can you buy? iTunes, Amazon, basically anywhere you can rent a movie, you can watch Magic City Hustle.
You need to stick to the script, brother. And yes, I've never called him that before. You need to stick to the script. Everybody's been trying to screw me up since Friday night. Backhand stew all. It's just, you know. And then Andrew. We really can't elaborate on that because at the end of the day, we're professionals because we get paid to do this. But Andrew slipped a zinger into there that he knew that I would more than likely respond to, which is just more proof of why we can't have a chat during Battle Court.
Oh, man. That's good stuff. Well, we're prepared for Battle Court a little later. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be the Renegades and the Cyclones. No laughs here, Stu. It's very serious. We got the
Of course it's serious.
two singles and 4 doubles, beginning with Division 2 doubles. That'll be Gosheri and Ben against Jairo and Manu. Then Division 4 doubles, we'll see Goanaga and CRB against Robin and Unda. Again, Robin subbing for Bueno, who remains out for the Cyclones. Then match 3 will be Division 3 singles, Amigarena against Jairo. Back to doubles with Division 6, CRB and Flores against Williams and Robin. 2 subs for the Cyclones in match 4. Then match 5 will be Goanaga and Amigarena against Inaki and Unda, Division 3 doubles. And the finale will be Division 1 singles with Gosheri against Manu. Those will be the 6 matches in order tonight between the Renegades and the Cyclones. And what was I was looking at something here. Renegades. Yeah,
We're looking at the script from Magic City Hustle.
No, I certainly was not. This is already the 3rd time. Yeah, I was going to say the 3rd and final game day between the Renegades and Cyclones in the regular season. The Cyclones have won the first 2. So looking for the season sweep in game days, which is pretty significant. Renegades won their first 2 game days of the year. They were up at the top of our standings. Now the Renegades are in last place. They're tied with the Devils, but in terms of the tiebreaker, total matches won. The Devils are actually 1 ahead. So we'll see what happens after tonight. Join us for Battle Court at 5 p.m.
Time to begin our 8th and final game of the Pelota performance in advance of Battle Court at 5 p.m. A spectacular 7 singles match, played 7 points, points double after the first round of play. Aratsa serving red at post 1, receiving blue at post 2. Gosheri. There's a backhand by Gosheri. There's a backhand. 2-all by Gaucheri, lands in and scores point 2. Gaucheri first up on the board here in our 8th game. That'll bring to the court the white shirt of post 3, Arrutia. Here's a backhand by Arrutia. Rebote 2-all, lands in and scores point 2. Green shirt to post 4. Here's Iturbide. Rotate by Gaucheri, stays inside. Two all, opens wide and scores. Rotate by Alex to the outside, lands just out of play, point 2. Yellow shirt to post 6. Douglas receives. Douglas on the catch. Here's the backhand. Gaucheri, beautiful scoop at the side wall. Tough play. Douglas is there. Backhand from the 8. Tostado Urabote, 2-all scores, point 2. 5 points for the blue post 2. Gaucheri receiving. Manu. Here's the catch by Manu. High bounce, Costalo, big bounce. Gaucheri reads it. He's got it on the forehand at the outside. Drop shot, scores on the second bounce, point 2. Straight point, possible game point for the blue post 2. Gaucheri trying to stop him, Iñaki. The backhand by Iñaki. Rotate 2-all, in and scoring. Point and a perfect game with no other points on the board for the blue shirt of post 2, Gaucheri. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 playing off for second and third. 1 first serves to 3. Thanks for the correction, Ernesto. Here's the backhand by Rocks. Point 1. Well, with 2 points, here's post 4, Iturbide. Over serve, point 4. For serving, black shirt at post 5, Alex. Point 5. Five with 2 points. Here's post 6. Douglas. Alex on the catch. Forehand from the 10 line. Scoop. In and out of the cesta. Point 5. Possible place point for Alex. Trying to stop him, Manu. Point. And place to post 5, Alex. 1 serves to 4. This is show point.
True.
There's a backhand by Ichibide. Rebote forehand. 2-all with a light touch, hit the pad. 1 shows. Unofficial order finish, 2-5-1. Your price will be up in a moment. Results from Game 8 are official. Coming in first, post 2, Kosheri. Taking second, post 5, Alex. Coming in third, post 1, Aratz. Aratz was substituting for Nicholas. 2-5-1, the official order of finish. Price will be up momentarily. Late pick 3, 8-1-2, 3 of 3 numbers, returning $224.20. $2 wager on 2 to win, $4. $2 Quinella 2-5, first and second, in any order, $17.60. The trifecta, first, second, and third place finishing $114.40. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for this Tuesday afternoon edition of Live Highlight in the Magic City on the Highlight channel, the Pelota performance. Please join us again at 5 p.m., just about 1 hour from now, for Battle Court, when the Renegades will take on the Cyclones. On behalf of the players, staff, and management of Battle Court Highlight, Magic City Highlight, and of course the World Highlight League, we thank you for joining us and hope to see you at 5 p.m. for Battle Court. Have a good day, everyone.